name is Ashley. I am with Yoga for Caregivers. Today's practice is going to be a gentle stretch and release class. I highly recommend that you do have a blanket to sit on and has a little extra cushion for our knees and to use at the end of our practice. We're going to get started today in an easy seated position and allowing the sit bones to the ground. And we want our knees below our hips. So that's what the blanket is great for. You can fold it as many times as you need. And you just come to sit on it. And once you're there, bring the hands, palms face down on the knees. Allow the crown of the head to reach up towards the sky and close down your eyes. We don't want to hunch over in this pose. We want to draw the shoulders up towards the ears and down the back body, sitting up nice and tall. Allowing those sits bones to ground down so you can find length in the spine. And just take a moment to do a physical scan of the body from the toes to the crown of the head and seeing where you're holding onto your tension today. Maybe it's in the hips, maybe it's in the shoulders, maybe it's in the neck, maybe it's in your heart space today. This practice is going to allow you to let it go. And hopefully when this practice is over, you just feel a little more free, open. And when the body feels good, so does the heart and the mind. So we begin our practice with just easy breath work. Inhaling, filling the belly, the rib cage, the chest. Exhaling, chest, rib cage, navel up and in. Inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling and exhaling for that slow count of 5 at your own pace. When we allow ourselves to slow down the breath, we allow ourselves to slow down the mind and the body. Filling that entire body with your breath, your prana. It's your life force energy. As always, I invite you to set an intention for your practice by bringing hands to heart space in prayer mudra, Anjali mudra. And whatever is calling you to your mat, maybe it is just a let go from the day to release tension. Maybe there's a tension or dreams that you're working on. Fill it up into that beautiful heart space of yours, not letting it go, but just letting it be. And if your thoughts, your mind start to wander throughout today's practice, I invite you to come back to this intention and allow it to grow, to cultivate and manifest. Because you deserve for it to come true. Gently flutter open those eyes. Take a nice deep inhale, reach prayer up towards the sky. Sending that intention out. Back of the hands are going to touch. Exhale, clear the space around you, chin towards the chest. Inhale, sweep it up. Use that breath. Exhale, clear the space. Inhale, up one more time. And exhale, clear the space. Bringing the fingertips to the mat beside you. And just dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder, drawing the chin up towards the sky. Try to relax where you can relax. Right? Try not to hike the shoulder up towards the ears. Just this nice release in our neck. Now I want you to take the chin towards the right shoulder and gaze off that shoulder. Try to stretch your eyeballs back at the same time. Trying to gaze as far as possible towards the right. Beautiful. Come back, chin towards the chest, and then lift it up. Left ear is dropping towards the left shoulder. Just breathing into that space that you're creating. then draw the chin up towards the sky. A little bit higher. And then bring the chin towards that left shoulder, gazing off that left shoulder. Slowly come back to center, reach the arms up. Gaze follows, relax the shoulders down the back body. Take one more nice deep inhale here. And exhale, drop that left fingertips down towards the earth. Right hand's reaching over ear line. Draw that right sit bone down to the earth and spin that heart open. Right, you can stay high onto the fingertips. You can come to the palm. You can even bend that elbow. But don't collapse into that left rib cage so much that you're squeezing, right? We're letting go here. And we're opening that heart. I feel this nice elongation on the right side body. Inhale, lift it back up. As you exhale, right fingertips down, left arm over ear line. See how this side feels as you begin to open it. Maybe the palm can come down, maybe the forearm can come down. But don't lose the integrity of the posture. Inhale, reach that right arm back up towards the sky. And exhale, melt your heart space forward, nice and slow. Plant the hands in front of you. You're gonna walk those hands out as far as you can without rounding the spine and just bow down. And you are grounded to the earth as you do so. Let go of the tension where you can. You might even make the third eye, the space between your eyebrows, all the way to the earth. And if you don't, it's okay. You'll get there one day. Continuing to breathe right through the rib cage. Lengthening your inhales and your exhales. Getting into your hip flexor. So whatever shin is crossed in front, this is getting into that hip flexor. And then slowly come back up. We're gonna cross the opposite ankle in front now. So whatever way that doesn't feel comfortable for you, because we never go that way first. Take a nice deep inhale, lift the arms up towards the sky. As you exhale, twist off towards the left. Right hand, left knee. Left hand acts like a second spine. Inhale to grow tall. As you exhale, twisting right from that navel point, gazing off that left shoulder a little bit deeper. So our inhales always find length, and our exhale gets us deeper into the posture. Your next inhale is going to reach the arms up towards the sky, and exhale, twist to the opposite direction, towards the right. Inhaling, creating space. Exhale, twisting a little bit deeper. Rising back up and bowing forward. So now the opposite hip flexor is going to get this nice sensation. So go to your comfort level. A little bit of discomfort, but not pain. Allowing yourself to still be grounded in the sits bones, allowing that length through the side of the body, allowing yourself to breathe. Slowly rising back up. Take your time. Remove that blanket if you're sitting on it. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So they can be as close as you want towards the midline or as far away as you need. Again, we're sitting up nice and tall. The knees are out wide. The soles of the feet are pressing towards one another. And just flap your wings for a moment. Creating this butterfly shape, Baddha Konasana in Sanskrit. And breathe in. Okay, opening up these hips, allowing them to be released. And allowing yourself to let go. Then find some stillness here. Take a nice deep inhale. Pop your heart open towards the sky, gaze up. And as you exhale, wave that heart space forward, bend the elbows, draw your nose towards your toes. Next inhale lifts you back up, these big waves we are doing with our torso. Exhale draws you down. One more time, inhale, lift it up. And exhale, bow and hold. Can keep that length, create that space. Slowly rise back up. We're going to keep the left leg exactly how it is, but then extend that right leg out and then draw the sole of the left foot on the inside of the right thigh. Twist yourself off towards the right and gaze off that right shoulder. Flex those right toes towards the face. And then your next inhale, lift the arms up towards the sky, keeping the torso in line with that right leg. And exhale, we bow forward, reaching for the toes by the sides of the thigh or the calf, and bowing. If you have really tight hamstrings like I do, the crown of the head's not getting towards the shin, you sit up nice and tall and you bow to that comfort level. Try to draw that right hip back and the left hip forward and bow. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lift back up. We're going to bend that right knee and just grab onto the sole of the right foot. Draw the knee in towards the armpit as far back as you can. You might need the support of that left hand. Again, we're sitting up nice and tall. It's like a bow and an arrow. And then we're taking the sole of the right foot on the outside of the left knee, just twisting off towards the left. Nice open twist here. Slowly come back through center, extend that right leg out in front of you, extend the left leg. The sole of the right foot's gonna come to the inside of the left thigh, switch inside. So you might need to bring that leg out a little bit wider and find that sits bones grounded into the earth. We're gonna twist off towards the left, gaze off that left shoulder. And then inhale the arms up towards the sky and we bow over that left leg. Maybe you meet the toes. Maybe the hands come to the sides. Draw that left hip back. Allow the heart space to bow down. And this might be really intense on your hamstring today. Allow that discomfort, but not pain. Slowly rising back up. We're keeping that right leg here. We're bending the left knee and just grabbing onto the foot. Draw the knee in towards the armpit. Use the right fingertips as support. So you're holding that knee back like a bow and an arrow. Allow that crown to reach towards the sky. Smile. And then bring the sole of the left foot on the outside of the right knee and twist off towards the right. Gaze off that right shoulder. And then come back to center and extend that left leg, extend the right leg. Find the sit bones again. Remove your blessings. And we're gonna bring the hands to the sides of the body. Press the palms into the earth, so deep into the earth that you start to lift the seat up and slide it back slightly. So the shoulders are over the wrist crease. And then we're gonna point our toes as deep as possible back so the heels lift off the earth. You're gonna feel this nice sensation throughout the entire legs. the entire legs, both legs. And release pointer toes. Now bring the hands behind you, just a little bit behind the hips points. And we're gonna lift our seat up, finding a reverse plank. So I'm gonna come to the side so you can see me. And we're just gonna lift the seat up and gaze up at the ceiling. And then release it back down. Now crossing at the ankles or rolling the legs out towards the side, we're making our way into our tabletop position. This is a really nice time to see if you need a low cushion for your knees. I like to place a blanket along the middle of the mat so that way I have a little more cushion. Doubling up your mat is another option, or rolling the sides of your mats in is also another option. And once we get into our tabletop position, the hips are directly over the knees, the shoulders are directly over the elbow creases. Fingers are spread nice and wide. And just gaze forward and down, all right? We're creating length where we can. So there's a nice elongation of the neck as well, right? The expansion of our spine. Right to our beautiful heart space, we breathe. Inhaling completely. Exhaling fully, feeling connected here. Now your next inhale, the tailbone's gonna reach up, the belly's gonna drop, the heart's gonna draw forward, and you're gonna gaze up to where the ceiling meets the wall for a cow pose. And then as you exhale, push the earth away, round the spine, tailbone tucks, you gaze back in between the knees. Scared Halloween kitty cat, think about. Inhaling for a cow. And just going from both postures, cow to cat, as you exhale. Close down your eyes, tap into your breath pattern, and connect with how your body is feeling. After your next full exhale, meet me back in neutral tabletop position. We're gonna extend that right leg back and release the toes to the mat. Rock forward and back. Forward and back. Again, this nice stretch here down the right leg. And then find some stillness. Shoulders come directly over the wrist crease again. Navel starts to activate. You're bringing that up and in. And then we're going to lift those toes off the mat to the hip height. So a lot of times we like to fling that leg all the way up or keep it too low. Try to think of one energy line from the hip all the way towards the heel. And you start to balance here. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, nose towards the knee, round the spine. Inhale to extend it back, flex those toes. Exhale to round. Inhale to extend, and exhale to round. Inhale, extend it back, but this exhale, we're gonna draw that knee out towards the right elbow like a dog in a fire hydrant. So it doesn't have to be high, it can be at the wrist crease if you need it there too. And then extend it back nice and long. Cross it over towards the left, release the toes, gaze over at left shoulder. And then come back through center and release that knee down. Bringing the fingertips to face the sides of the mat. And we're going to inhale, draw the shoulders forward. As you exhale, draw the shoulders over towards the right and back towards the heel. Making these big circles, bringing the shoulders over towards the left and forward. Continuing to breathe as you make these big hip circles. This is also getting into the wrist crease by bringing the fingertips towards the sides of the mat. Our wrists aren't made for weight bearing, and we do a lot of weight bearing in our practice. We use our hands a lot as well, right, in our work, in our day-to-day life. So it's really important to focus on the wrist and building that stability and strengthening them. Next time you come back towards the heels, go in the opposite direction. Connect with that breath. then finding some stillness, bringing those fingertips back towards the front of the mat, spread them nice and wide. Again, you're trying to press down through the mounds of the fingers to get a little bit of pressure out of your wrist. I know it's definitely challenging, especially when you're not used to a practice. Really try to press down through the mounds of the thumb and the index finger. This time the left leg is going to extend back and we're releasing the toes towards the earth. Draw the shoulders forward and rock it back. Get into the toes, they might crack. Mine always do. Sometimes so loud you can actually hear me on camera, but it's a really good release. And then find some stillness with those shoulders right over the wrist crease, navel's up and in. Lift those left toes right from the hip, straight back. Press down through the earth, draw the shoulder blades away from each other. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, round that spine, knee towards the nose. Inhale to extend it back. Exhale, knee towards the nose. Inhale to extend it back. One more time, knee towards the nose. And extend it nice and long. This exhale draws the knee towards the left elbow like a dog on a fire hydrant. Don't dump too much into that right hip crease. And then release it back and over towards the right. Gaze over at right shoulder, press the heel back. We'll come back through center. And we're just kind of sit back on our heels. You can always place a blanket there too if you need to, in between the butt and the heels. We're just doing one more wrist stretch, one more hand stretch here before we come up to a downward facing dog. So we're gonna bring the hands out in front of us, draw the shoulder blades back, fingertips press up towards the sky, and we're just gonna pulse as quickly as we can. Keep the arms activated, right, and just keep going. You don't realize how hard this is to do the longer you hold this. Right? The arms want to drop, you want to bend those elbows, but you are strong, you're not doing it. Your hands are like, what the heck, you've been using me all day. I don't want to do any more work, but it's really good to do this. And shake it out. Now bring the hands back to heart space in Anjali Mudra. Right, elbows are going to bend out towards the sides. We're going to bring that right hand and slide it up so the left fingertips touch the right palm. And then press those fingertips back towards the left, as deep as you can go. Now we're keeping those fingertips pressed back towards the left elbow, right? So we're not losing that integrity. And we're just going to try to lift that right hand off, and you're going to feel this really deep sensation in that left wrist crease. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then bring the fingertips facing down towards the earth and just press it back again. Amazing. Come back through center, prayer mudra. Go to the opposite side. So the left fingertip's going to slide up so those right fingertips touch the left palm. Elbows are bending out nice and long. And then press those right fingertips back as far back as you can go. And then we're going to try to hold those fingertips back as we release the left hand. The right wrist is going to scream at you. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring those fingertips to face the earth. Press them back towards the elbow. Beautiful. Come back through center, interlace here. Make fist, and roll the wrist in one direction. As fast as you can go. And the opposite direction. As fast as you can go. Beautiful. Shake it out. And then throw your way back into tabletop position. Now we're going to try to stretch the tops of our feet. This is challenging, especially because we never stretch the tops of our feet. So we're going to keep the fingers, the hands pressed into the earth. Bring the tops of the feet onto the mat. We're going to lift the knees off the earth to hover. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Doing 2 more sets. So when you're ready, lift those knees off the earth, press the tops of feet into the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, release. Maybe you need to shake them out before the last set. Now last round, press the tops of feet into the mat. Inhale those knees off the earth for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Big toes are going to touch, knees are going to bump out nice and wide. We're going to sit the seat back towards the heels for child's pose. Reach those arms out in front of you. Lower the third eye down and release the elbows. Make this a passive child's pose. Connect with that breath for a moment. Connect with how the body is feeling. Always recognizing whatever practice that you do, not just this one, a child's pose is a really great reset button. You're able to come down to a child's pose, connect with the body, connect with the breath. Because once you start to lose your breath pattern, you start to lose the practice. It's not worth it. So allow yourself to breathe whenever you need to. Then come back to that tabletop position. We're going to bring the hands about 1 hand length out in front of us. Curl those toes under, lift the seat up and back for a downward facing dog. Allow that heart space to draw back. To check with your alignment, roll forward into a plank, like a high push-up. So shoulders go right over the wrist crease, heels are right over the toes. Right, the booty is not too high, the booty's not dropping down towards the earth. And then we reach our seat back up towards the sky for downward facing dog without moving the hands or the feet. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale into our plank. Exhale for our down dog. Inhale into our plank. Exhale for a downward facing dog. Once you get there, pedal out the feet. Bend one knee deeply, then the other. Any organic movement that feels really good for you today. And then find some stillness. Gaze in between the thumbs and walk the feet all the way to the top of your mat for a forward fold, our Uttanasana. Now you want to feel secure and stable here. So feet together is traditional, but if you don't feel stability here, bring them a little wider apart. I like mine a little wider apart to feel secure here. But you can't build a house without a strong foundation, so you can't build your practice without a strong foundation. You want to reach the tailbone up towards the sky and the crown of the head towards the toes, gazing back. Allowing everything just to let go. If there's any pressure in the low back, there's a deeper bend in the knee. There's always a slight bend in the knee though, so we don't lock out our joints. Take an inhale, sweep the arms down, around, and up, rising all the way up, reaching the arms up towards the sky for Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, hands to heart space. Inhale to lift it up towards the sky. Exhale, swan dive down, arms will reach out nice and wide. We bow forward and forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Lift in the heart space, bring the hands to the shins. You want a nice flat back here. Exhale, release the hands, step the left foot all the way back so you can't step back any deeper. Lowering that knee down, untucking the toes. The right knee stays directly over the ankle. A lot of times you see that knee really far forward. That's going to cause injury later on. You want to keep it directly above or slightly behind. And then we're bringing the hands to the right thigh and lifting our heart up. Head over heart over pelvis, and we relax our pelvis down towards the mat. And we gaze forward. If you have a practice, you can even reach the arms up towards the sky, or you can try it and relax the shoulders down the back body. Take one more nice deep inhale wherever you are. And exhale, plant the hands back onto the mat and stretch that leg back. Point the toes towards the face, come light onto the fingertips and just bow forward. And this is a nice hamstring stretch here. Remember, each inhale creates length. Each exhale bows you a little bit deeper, getting deeper into whatever pose you're on. And then slowly bend that front knee again. The left hand's gonna plant, the right arm's gonna reach up, and we're gonna follow our gaze towards that right thumb. And then release that right hand down, step it forward for a forward fold Uttanasana. We're gonna create space by lifting up halfway, hands to the shins, flat back. Exhale, bow forward, step that right foot all the way back. Soften the knee down, untuck the toes. Hands can stay on the mat the entire time if you don't want to rise up in this runner's lunge. Or you bring the hands to the thigh, find a strong foundation, maybe even lift those arms up towards the sky. We're in Anjalayasana, our low lunge. Relaxing where you can relax, connecting with that breath. Inhale here. Exhale, hands frame out that foot. Next inhale, heart shines forward. Next exhale comes into a half split. Walk those hands back if you need to. Stretch out that left leg, point to toes towards the face. Try not to dump into that right hip. Find a square, hips towards the earth. And breathe. I'm in it with you here, don't worry. I have the curse of the tight hamstrings as well. Slowly walk it back forward. We're gonna plant that right hand, left arm's gonna reach to the sky, your gaze is gonna follow. Amazing, release that left hand down. Curl those right toes under, lift the knee off the earth. We're stepping back into our downward facing dog. As we inhale, we're gonna roll forward into a plank, but release those knees to the mat. Shoulders drop past the wrist crease this time. And exhale, bend those elbows in, lower the heart, lower the third eye. Booty stays high. We slide forward onto our bellies, plant the tops of the feet into the earth, elbows hug the rib cage as we lift up, pressing through the palms for our cobra pose. And then exhale those hips back towards the heels for a child's pose. And coming back forward to all fours, and we're just gonna swing the legs out towards the side and make our way back onto our seat. And blanket can come to the side of the mat. We can use it a little bit later. This time in our seat, we're gonna take our legs nice and wide. Like, this is also a great opportunity to use a blanket. I need to because I do have tight hamstrings. And you're gonna come to sit on the blanket so you can release a little bit here. We're gonna walk our hands out in front of us as deep as we can without losing the integrity of our spine, and just bow. Maybe your whole entire torso comes onto the earth. Maybe you're just all the way up here. Maybe halfway like I am. Press the heels into the mat and allow yourself to let go. Slowly rise back up. Remove the blanket from behind you and gently guide the knees in towards one another. We're coming to lay down, but before we do, let's find a boat pose. So again, find stability in your sits bones. Bring the hands down at the sides, elbows hug in. Lifting the feet off the mat, as high as you can go, so the shin comes parallel with the earth if that's capable and accessible for you. You want to draw the heart forward, shoulders back. So we're not rounding the spine. We never round our spine in our practice. Well, we do, but not when we're trying to sit up nice and tall. Only when we ask to round our spines. Now, option to keep the hands here. Maybe you bring them behind the thighs. Maybe you reach the fingertips out in front of you. You have to activate the core here to be able to sit up nice and tall. You can even extend those legs nice and long. And then we're just going to lower to hover off the mat and lift back up. Do that 2 more times. Hover and lift. Working the core a little bit. Hover and lift. Now plant the feet onto the earth and just roll down onto your back. Once you get there, knees hug in towards the chest. You rock from side to side. And then plant the soles of the feet onto the earth, inner hips distance apart. So we always think as ladies, if you are a lady, that our hips are wider than what you think. Your hips are not the size of your mat. They're literally about 2 fist distance apart on the mat, maybe a fist and a half. Fingertips graze those heels. Then I want you to bring the feet just slightly forward towards the front of your mat. Press that low back into the earth. I'm going to press the hands and the feet into the mat. So you inhale, lift the seat off the mat, and try to draw the chest towards the chin. This puts a little pressure on your neck, so there's no rotating your neck in this posture. You gaze directly above you. Find a bridge pose. And then we exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. This time, interlace the hands at the low back, making that fist again. Pressing the fist into the earth, pressing the feet into the earth, lifting those hips a little bit higher. Try to draw the shoulder blades to kiss so it creates a little more space here. And then we lower everything back down to the mat. Bring the feet max distance apart now, knees in towards one another. And then we're just going to windshield wiper our legs from side to side. So drop the knees towards the left and the right, like windshield wipers on the car. We're clearing it all out. And slowly find stillness. Bring the feet back to inner hips distance apart. The right ankle is going to cross over the left thigh, and we're going to draw that right knee towards the front of your mat, flexing the right foot for a sleeping pigeon pose. You can stay right here if you feel a great stretch here. If you feel nothing, your hips may be too open to stay here. Bring the hands to interlace behind the left thigh and lift that foot off the mat so the shin's parallel to the mat. Both feet are flexed if that left foot is lifted. You're trying to draw that left knee in towards the chest as you draw the right knee towards the front of the room. Wherever you are, just breathe. And then slowly release out of the posture, take your time. And we're switching to the opposite side. So the left ankle is going to cross over the right thigh and draw that left knee towards the front of the room. Flex that left foot to protect the joints. Each side may be different. This might be really tight for you or more open. Option to lift that right foot off the mat and to release it behind that right thigh. Wherever you are, just create space with the breath. And And slowly release that right foot, release the left foot. Hug the knees in towards the chest. Open the arms out like a T. Inhale completely. Exhale, drop the knees towards the left, gaze towards the right. Coming into a twist here, supine twist. Slowly come back through center, dropping the knees towards the right, gazing towards the left. You want to try to relax the shoulders down as best as possible, so you might need to come out of it slowly, so you can do so. Then come back through center. I'm going to release the legs up towards the sky. So allow the feet to flex towards the face. This is not going to be super comfortable, especially if you've never done it before. You can place a blanket underneath your seat. You can place your hands underneath your seat. So that way it gives a little less pressure here. Find a waterfall pose. You can also go over to a wall and put legs up the wall. Just giving back to our feet, right? They keep us grounded, they keep us stable, secure to Mother Earth. They do so much for us. There's so many different pressure points within our feet that connect to the rest of our vital organs. And by elevating our feet over our heart, this is an inversion. It's a cooling inversion. It's common. It breaks through our nervous system. So legs may begin to shake. Just allow that blood to flow back to your beautiful heart space. Allow yourself just to relax here the best you can. And then slowly hug the knees back in. Anything underneath your sacrum, release. And extend the legs nice and long. The right foot's coming towards the right corner of your mat. The left foot's coming towards the left corner of the mat. The hands are coming down at the sides. If you do have a blanket, fold it and place it on your belly just as a little weight. It feels so good. Then the hands come down at the sides, palms face up. Bring them off your mat onto the earth beside you. Right? Taking up space, the world is big. And closing down the eyes. This is our final relaxation pose, Shavasana. Allowing the mind, body, and soul to connect. Allowing yourself to be completely still, completely relaxed. From the toes to ankles and the calves. Allowing the thighs, the glutes, the low back to melt away. The mid-back, upper back, shoulders rest upon your mat. The elbows, the tops of hands, all 10 fingers, just be. Release the space between your eyebrows. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth and just breathe. Allowing your body to soak in all the sensations that you created. Slowly begin to awaken by wiggling all 10 fingers, all 10 toes. Rolling the wrist and the ankles. Bring the feet together, pointing the toes towards the front of your mat. Reaching the arms overhead, giving yourself a full body stretch. Removing anything that's in your way. And hugging the knees in towards the chest and just saying thank you to yourself for taking time to come to your mat and to practice. Taking time for self-love, self-care, so you can shine your love, your light upon the world. Rolling over onto right side and feet up position, making an arm with the right, or making a pillow with the right arm. Closing down the eyes. Just taking another moment here to recognize how the mind, body, and soul feels. To recognize where you released today, where you're still holding on to tension. Just allowing yourself to let it go. And then when you're ready, help yourself up to an easy seated position. Try to keep the eyes closed the entire journey up. And once you get there, bringing the hands to the heart space and bowing your chin towards your chest, pressing the thumbs into your sternum, feeling that vibration, that energy. Maybe your heart is beating quick. Maybe you were able to slow it down. Loka samasta sukhina bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free from suffering. May the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute to the happiness and freedom for all. Thank you for joining me on the mat for Yoga for Caregivers. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.